Where do rocks come from?
Where do rocks come from?
Yes.
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, a lot of rocks start out, well, I guess we could say all rocks start out as volcanic rocks. So they come from volcanoes, and you guys have one in your room, and I have one here. And so they're started as melted material, and then they cool and they get solid. So that's where rocks originate. But then they start to get weathered, and they break off, and they form new rocks like sedimentary rocks like sandstones might have volcanic material in them. And then after a while, they also get squished and they might form metamorphic rocks. So rocks come from all sorts of different things, but initially they come from volcanoes. So that's the first place they arrive from, is from melted material within the mantle that comes up and is erupted on the surface.
So all rocks started out from volcanoes?
Yes, all rocks started out from volcanoes.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's really cool. So when our planet was really, really young, there were just lots of volcanoes that formed the rocks.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question.
Thanks. The best question I ever had. Why are some rocks shiny?
Why are some rocks shiny? Well, some rocks are shiny because they have crystals in them that make them really shiny. And some rocks are shiny because they were smoothed down. On this volcanic rock, you probably can't see it, but this side right here, there's some really nice shininess to it, and that's just because of the crystals that are in it. I don't think it translates as well over Skype. But that's one way that rocks become shiny, is just that they have crystals in them that make them shiny. And they look really pretty. Do you guys have some nice shiny rocks in your room? Yeah, shiny rocks are my favorite. I like them when they sparkle a whole lot. I think that's really cool. Great question. Thank you.
Your turn. Do you remember your question? Okay, come kneel down. Kneel down so she can see.
What are rocks made of?
What are rocks made of? Well, rocks are made of crystals, lots and lots of crystals. And I was thinking about this last night, and I was looking for some Legos, but I didn't have any Legos nearby. But do you guys like to play with Legos? Yeah? So if you think about rocks, rocks are formed of lots of little tiny crystals like Legos, and they all have different colors and shapes and sizes. And some of them you can see, but some of them are so tiny you can't see them. Like on this rock, they're so small that you can just barely make out the crystals, but there's tons of them in there. So that's what rocks are made of. They're made of lots of little minerals and crystals, sort of like Legos, building blocks of rocks. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more question for you.
Why do some rocks have holes?
Oh, that's a great question. So remember this rock that I showed you guys earlier that has lots of holes in it? So this rock, when it formed, it had lots of air bubbles. And so it's from a volcanic eruption. So it was erupted and there were lots of little tiny air bubbles and they popped and they left holes. So that's how those holes formed. But then I have another rock here. This is from the beach nearby, and you can see that big hole in it. See that? It's a great hole, and there's a couple of other holes. These are formed because of weathering from water. So you can imagine this rock just sort of sitting here and having water just drip down on it for a really long time. And then after a really long time, it actually burrows through and makes a hole. So that is another way that rocks get holes in them. So there are a lot of different ways that rocks get holes, but those are two really cool ways that you can see from the beach and then also from a volcano. Great question. Thank you so much.